Welcome everyone to another session of our live training that happens every Tuesday from 12 p.m. Eastern Time to somewhere between 12:30 to 12:45. Now, in the next coming weeks, it may change to Wednesday actually, so I will let you all know when that happens. But today's live training, I'm going to be talking about something that a lot of my coaching clients ask me in terms of how to overcome fear of interviews. And if I'm shy, they always tell me, Majuba, I'm really shy. I'm not sure how well I'll do. And so it was important for me to create training, again, to give you some solid tools and techniques that you can utilize right now in terms of if you're looking for a job or if you're someone who's preparing for interviews and you consider yourself to be a shy individual or someone who is not comfortable in social settings, therefore interviews are also a source of stress for you, then this is definitely a training that you don't want to miss. So we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Majuba Bianchi. I'm the CEO of 3T Institute as well as its coach. I coach in career development and also in the concepts of project management. And again, today our topic will be how to overcome fear of interviews, even if you consider yourself to be shy. So in the comments section, go ahead and tell me whether you consider yourself to be shy. Are you someone who considers yourself to be shy or someone who's uncomfortable in social settings? You can put a yes or a no or maybe or sometimes. Go ahead and let me know, and that way I can we can talk about how to overcome those situations. The other aspect of it is that when we use a certain word to describe ourselves, like Majuba, hey, look, I'm shy, or I'm not, I don't think I'm a good interviewer or anything like that. What we have to realize is that when we say that we are shy, we also have to make that connection to our self-confidence and self-esteem. So if you said to yourself, whether in the comment section or maybe to yourself that yes, you are a shy person, would you also consider yourself to be someone who may not have the highest self-esteem? Right? And if you said, oh yes, I don't have the highest self-esteem, then we know that there's absolutely a connection between being shy and having a low self-esteem, because those two definitely go hand in hand when it comes down to performing well in a job interview. And so I really want to today clarify a lot of the misconception. I want each of you to know that essentially what happens is that when we are shy and when we label ourselves as one thing or another, we are keeping ourselves away from being the best version of who we are. And now here's another question for you. How has your shyness held you back from achieving your career goals? How has your shyness impacted your life? Has it been a good impact or has it been a bad impact? You need to answer that question right now. You need to say to yourself, you don't have to say it, in the chat box, but you really want to say to yourself, how has my fear and my shyness held me back from achieving my life's goals? And so if you've said to yourself, I haven't been able to do my best in job interviews, jobs that I wanted to get, or I have had the fear of asking for what I deserve, imagine that if you had overcome those fears and the shyness, where you would be today. And if where you would be today is better than where you are, then you want to be willing to change. If you're not willing to change, then no matter what I say or any expert says, you are going to continue in your path and you will get the same results. So therefore today you really want to think about it. Am I going to make the conscious decision that if my habits and the way I label myself no longer serves me, then let me go ahead and let go of it. When it comes to interviewing, and being shy or having the fear of interviews, essentially what we do as individuals is that we think about it from the perspective of the interviewer all of a sudden deems us as someone who may not be smart or may not be capable, or we bring up these misconception views from the perspective of the interviewer and make up these stories in our head that's not even true. That's what happens. If you've ever said to yourself, oh my God, I hate interviewing, what you're doing there is you're taking the interviewer's perception, or you're giving a perception that is not true. Because here's one thing I can tell you, and I'm so glad you guys are here, right? What I can tell you is that we create our own walls. For every misconception, you're essentially putting one brick over another, and you're putting a wall between yourself and the interviewer. And what you're saying is, this individual deems me to not be smart, therefore, the way I'm going to answer the interview question probably won't be at the capacity they want to hear, and all of a sudden you're going to do bad. That's exactly what happens. So at that moment, I want you to do something. I want you to remove all perceptions of another individual of how they perceive you. No one perceives you anyway until you show them how to be perceived. I'm going to say that again. No one perceives you any certain way until you show them how they should be perceiving you. So the control is in your hands. And therefore, I want to remind everyone that when you make it to the job interview, what are the layers that you have already gone through? That means you have an amazing resume that made it to HR or the recruiter. The recruiter has already called you and has had a pre-screening, and you've passed that. And now you are in the interview. So the fear is almost the fear of interviewing and being shy is just helping you or keeping you from really tying the bow on this job that you've wanted. In all of my training, I provide actionable steps that you can utilize and really analyze what it is that you're doing so that you can go ahead and correct yourself and be stronger in your career. So with that being said, I want everyone to take a moment and I want you to list all of your fears. Take a piece of paper, and if you're doing this on replay, please let me know, but go ahead and list out all of your fears. As many as you can think of. And once you have listed out your fears, I want you to rank your fears. I want you to rank them from 1 to 10. 1 being a fear that is in the back of your mind, but it's not a major fear. So you're going to give it a 1 and a 2. A fear of asking for what you want or the salary amount that you want could potentially be a number 8. So that is ranked high. So go ahead and put a ranking of 1 through 10. And once you have done that, I want you to put it in the order of the numbers that you see it. The important lesson here is in ranking your fears and ranking your fears and then putting them in the order is that if we understand that we need to correct something within us, which means we have the power to say we are not shy and that we are confident, you hold that power. And if you're saying to yourself, I no longer want to be shy and I want to be more confident, then this is your tools in terms of going ahead and working towards not being shy and being more confident. So once you have it listed, all of your fears, and you have it ranked and you have it prioritized, the next thing I want you to do is to go ahead tackle your smallest fear on a daily basis. A small fear could be, when I go to a grocery store, I keep my head down and I buy my groceries and I don't say hello to anyone because I don't like making eye contact with strangers and I don't like to have conversations with strangers. And you really first want to internalize maybe a scenario like that to say, is it that you feel the stranger is judging you because you didn't put your makeup on and you're in sweats? What is making you think that that stranger is judging you in any way? Or what is keeping you from saying your pleasantries that we have all grown up with, which is acknowledging another human being? That the person doing grocery shopping with you is another human being with the same blood color, right? We all have blue until it hits oxygen, and the same heart. The person at the grocery store is no different than the person that's interviewing you. We're all human beings to start with, but our perceptions and misconceptions is what builds the walls between us, and therefore one party or another shies away from being who they are and who they are meant to be. So let me know how many fears you have come up with. Put it in the comments. How many fears have you come up with that surprised you? Some of the fears that you could potentially write down is making new friends. Do you have fear of making new friends? How about joining a conversation at a networking event? Do you have a fear of joining a conversation in a group at a networking event? How about the fear of public speaking? And so if you have those fears, rank them. The fear of interviews, where does that get ranked? How many fears did you come up with? And if you came up with a list, I'm very proud of you. And this is all about taking the small steps so we understand how to overcome our fears and be the best version of ourselves. Because the only person the reason you're not the best version of yourself, or you're thinking that you're not, is because of you. Really no one else. Now let's go ahead and let me give you some more solid tips in how to overcome your shyness and fears of interviewing. I mentioned to all of you that prior to even getting an interview, you've already passed several of the steps that you needed to pass to make it to the interview. That means your resume was great, your pre-screening with the HR and recruiter was great, and now the last step is for you to go ahead and wrap things up with the in-person interview, whether that is a panel or a one-on-one. One of the first things you need to do for an interview is preparation. Preparation and getting ready for an event that you're fearing the most. That means that no matter who it is, whether it's your significant other, whether it's your pet, your children, that you're going to take every opportunity there is to practice interviewing. You're going to find the job description, the roles and responsibilities. You're going to take each roles and responsibility, align it to your resume where you have a experience bullet that aligns to that roles and responsibilities for the new job. And you're going to practice as much as you can, because when you practice, you're normalizing something that you had feared in the back of your mind. You're normalizing having a conversation. And maybe your children will not respond back, and maybe the dog will look at you like you're going crazy. That's absolutely okay. Humor yourself. It's absolutely okay to, for a moment, just laugh at ourselves. It's okay. So practice, practice, practice. Get uncomfortable so that you can become comfortable. The other aspect of shyness and fear, again, is tied to low self-esteem, and it is tied to your inability to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation because of what? Judgment. None of us like to be judged. But what if you started being okay with being judged? Because if someone's judging you, isn't that really on them and not you? Isn't it really their perception of you when it has no truth to it? So others who judge us then also have fears and also are low self-esteem, and we don't necessarily need to tie in their fears and their low self-esteem to ourselves. One of the things that's most uncomfortable to all of us is posting a picture of ourselves on social media. What if you dressed up really cute, put your normal makeup on, without a filter, posted a picture of yourself smiling or sitting in an area, on a bench, at a park, somewhere with good lighting, and just posting it and allowing the comments and the likes to come in. So what if we put ourselves in uncomfortable situations to make ourselves comfortable? And that's one way, because if we normalize knowing that people are going to judge us no matter what, then that means you're going to live your life as you choose and allow people to do what it is that they like. Another point that I want to talk about is that individuals who are shy or have low self-esteem or confidence spend so much time thinking about themselves at all times in every setting. And I have been there as well. Please know that the person that you're seeing here in front of you, Coach MJ, wasn't always the most confident individual. I did have a fear of public speaking. So I come to you from experience to say that what you're choosing and how you're choosing to label yourself is a choice that you can change, that you can work towards, and that you can become the version of yourself who you are actually supposed to be. So when I used to think about not being able to speak in a public setting or to give a keynote of some sort, it always came to my mind, all my insecurities surfaced up. My hair, the way I looked, my face looking round, for me not to look overweight, or how I sounded, my accent, and even the way I pronounced words were all things that kept me from doing public speaking. But one thing that I came across that really helped me was that those that have low self-esteem or consider themselves to be shy and have fear of social gatherings are individuals who spend so much time thinking about themselves, about things that are probably not even on the minds of anyone else but you. So today I'm going to leave you with this. What if you stopped judging yourself? And what if you stopped being so hard on yourself and really started looking around and appreciating people for who they are, and knowing that every person that you meet is going through the same thing that you are, and that if you are extending a handshake and exchanging a smile, saying hello, or making fun of yourself, that it is absolutely okay, and that you're building a bridge instead of a wall. So do that today, and stop yourself from this continuous judging, which we all know is keeping you from achieving your life's goals. So don't do that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the platform for Q&A sessions. So what I'll go ahead and monitor the Q&A section right here inside of the live. Put in your questions. What is it that, you can tell me what you thought about the training today, but also what are some things that you want to help overcome that I could potentially provide support or advice towards. Okay, I do see a question here. What do you call the chest breathing fast, voice shaking when it's interview or just normal chat with higher level up? How to calm down? Okay, so I see the question. Okay, so basically, Nishita, what you're saying is that when you are speaking up or that you are with management, how do you maintain your anxiety and fear? One of the first things I can tell you is that what you've shared is common to every single one of us, including myself. There are times where, yes, my voice has shaken when I have been standing in front of CEOs or C-level executives or directors. But what has helped me is to really look at those individuals and say, you're a human being just like I am. And just know that if you have put the thoughts through your mind already, analyzed what it is that you're going to say, if it's in terms of a project or a situation, You have done your own due diligence and have taken some notes in terms of what it is that you're going to say, and you're confident in what you're saying is going to be a benefit to the organization, or it's a risk that needs to be brought up, then it's okay if your voice shakes, as long as you know that what you're saying is going to be beneficial to the team, the project, and the organization. Breathing is going to help you. Just a deep breath in and a long exhale is going to also calm you down and lower your anxiety. Drinking water is going to help you. Jumping up and down in the restroom and just getting some of that energy out is going to help you. Doing the power pose where you're standing with your hands on your waist, and for 3 minutes you're looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, look, I'm pretty badass. Like, I know exactly what I'm talking about. By doing these exercises, that should give you the confidence to go ahead and say what it is that you need to say with confidence, with doing the eye contact where another individual is willing to listen. Great question there. Let me see if there are any. Training was very informative. The words comes out all wrong. I'm very uncomfortable. How do I fix that? Great question, Sonia. It's all about preparation. Preparation is key to eliminating fear, to eliminating anxiety, and to overcoming your confidence issues. You want to make sure that your mindset is aligned. How do you perceive yourself? Do you know that you can get the job done? Does your experience back up what your thoughts are in terms of, yes, I know I can do this job. I have the experience. I have the education. And all I need to do is say the right thing. So how do we say the right thing? We have to prepare. Believe it or not, for this live training today, I prepared. Here's my document. Of everything I wanted to make sure that I covered, topics that I brought up that would be helpful and beneficial to all of you. So just like that, no matter in a team meeting or in a job interview, preparation is what's going to give you your comfort level. And once you get your comfort level, then the world is yours. And it's a matter of practicing that, because eventually as career professionals, what happens is that you're going to gain so much experience and knowledge with preparation. You're going to then be able to speak fluently in a meeting or in a job interview. Because again, what you're going to keep in the back of your mind is that the person you're talking to right now is another human being. That they probably have the same level of anxiety and fears that you do. And that if you're going to open up your mouth, you want it to be concise and clear enough where the other person understands or is able to understand what you're trying to communicate. And we all know that if we don't prepare in terms of what our thoughts are and what we're going to say, then yes, the words will come out wrong. And then you'll walk away saying, oh shoot, I really wasn't prepared to have that conversation. I don't know why I brought that topic up. So if you have been in that kind of situation, then you know that preparation, understanding what you're going to say, your key points, doing your analysis, doing your root cause analysis, potentially jotting down some notes is what's going to help you have the confidence and the ability for you to speak in a very concise manner, so that the other person can understand what you are trying to relate back to them. How do you overcome foreign accent fears? Great question. English is my fourth language. I have to say that there are specific words that I stumble over at all times. I do. What has helped me is to look at some of those words and say, what is a letter placement that I am not saying correctly? And what I have done in the past, I've gone to YouTube and I've looked up specific words, and they have a video of an instructor who is able to actually tell you how to pronounce a particular word. One word that I always had trouble with was, believe it or not, strategy. I could not say strategy for the life of me. So it's not so much the accent, but the pronunciation of the words. as long as if you are a foreign language speaker, as long as you are able to communicate in a concise and very constructive approach manner, then that's all that matters. And if there are words that you don't know how to pronounce, learn how to pronounce them and listen to videos on YouTube in terms of pronouncing certain words. But be confident that your teammates are cheering for you and that you are a subject matter expert whose knowledge is so valuable that if they don't understand what you're saying, that they will confirm it. Another thing that you can do with, if you have insecurities with your accent, is to make sure that you follow it up with an email to say, hey team, I discussed this approach. I mentioned A, B, and C, and here are the action items that I need from the team, or here are the risks that came up. So following your conversation up with an email ensures that if you felt like your accent was potentially an issue, that there's clarity. And I bet you anything that once you send that email, your team's going to be like, yep, I totally got that when you said it in the meeting. And that will give you confirmation to not be hard on yourself. And I work with a lot of individuals with accents, and honestly, I fully understand what they're saying. So again, do that internal work, record yourself and say, do I really sound that bad? And have a friend of yours listen to it. And make sure that it's not where you're judging yourself and that it's not a self-judgment first. And what needs to be corrected. Follow up a conversation or a meeting with an email, and that way your team will be happy. Because at the end of the day, a company hires us because they trust in our expertise and knowledge, and they want to make sure that the project is a success. What are you doing to ensure that the project is a success? Perfect. Great questions, guys. This has been a very nice and interactive training. I encourage all of you that if there's someone that you know, or if you yourself have been looking at your career for a while now and you've said, oh my God, I've been stuck doing the same thing for the last 10 years, and I've been getting the miserable 2 to 3% raises. I know I deserve more, and I just need to get over my fears and anxiety and really know how to sell myself out there. If that's you, then let's have a conversation. Part of what I do is career coaching. What I focus on is what I always say is that career success comes with 3 main things: technical skills, soft skills, and mindset. Once you have mastered all 3 of those, then the world is yours. You can be successful in making the amount of money that you absolutely deserve. And if you need support in that, I can be your coach. What I do is I set up a 15-minute quick chat. I'll put that link right here inside of the chat box. Schedule a time with me. It's absolutely free. And if at that point you feel like, yes, I definitely need Majuba's help and support, then we can have a longer discussion, and where I can talk to you about the program I offer and how it has helped a lot of the people who are already in that program, including Jelani, who just recently joined. So I want to thank all of you for joining today, for your amazing questions. See you all next week right in here with another awesome training. Take care. Bye.